Welcome along, and we continue the army list analysis series, and today we are on the Seleucid 166 list, and this is quite a popular army with players in the league, and I'll go through some of the reasons why. It's a pretty good army. There are a few things to watch out for, and I'll go through some of those as we go along. It is essentially a pike army. As you can see, we've got 7 pike units, which is a fair number. But what's interesting with this particular list, it's got a few units that other armies, even pike armies, don't have, and that is, for example, the veteran pike. And we can take 2, and the way the points have worked out, I've taken 2. I would have probably taken 1 because they're 96. That's quite a lot of points to spend, but when I looked at the way the points were working out, it was just better just to take 2. They are really excellent units. Probably, when you say the best unit in the game, I don't know if there's any units more than 96. There's a few of the elite Roman units, but they're what, 87, I think, elite Roman unit. But this unit is superior quality and a pike unit. So you've got 921 men, all superior quality, 4 ranks deep. So this unit is very, very tough. You know, your standard pikes are still pretty good units, but they're only average quality. This is superior. It's not even above average, it's superior. So it's a big jump. If you put a general in there, I mean, you probably don't even need a general in there, but they're pretty almost unstoppable units, really, unless you flank them, or you can perhaps try to double team them, or just ignore them and focus on weaker parts of the enemy. But they are really good units, really good units. You've also got these Roman troops, the guard foot, which are essentially Roman legionnaires. They're superior quality armored impact foot, and we've got access to 4. I've taken the 4. 78 is a great price. Superior quality with impact, heavy foot, can't go wrong there. You've also got access to 1 superior warband, and effectively this means that 7 of your units, I've fielded 18 infantry units, which is a fairly good size. You might be facing some armies with 20, perhaps 21, but 18 is a fair size, and 7 of those units are superior quality. You've got your 2 veteran pike units, you've got your Roman troops, and your 4 of them, and 1 superior warband. So that's 7 of your units out of the 18 that you're fielding, the infantry, are superior quality. And then you've also got 5 pike units, and we've all played against them enough to know that even though they're only average quality against most troops, they'll last a fair while, especially if they survive impact against impact foot. So they're, you know, your standard units that are pretty good. So that means you've got a fairly good army quality wise and performance wise. There is a bit of a jump down. This is one of the disadvantages with this particular list. After your pikes and superior warband Romans, that's 12 units altogether here. you go down to the medium foot, and you have your spearmen. You've also got the armored version, which at 51, I think they're overpriced. It's just the way the points have worked out that I've had to take them, but on the whole, quality is generally better than armor in Field of Glory 2. That's how it works out mostly. I think often armor is, you're paying for armor and it's overpriced generally. So, you know, the troop quality is still average, and you've got armored status. So it's, you know, it's better than protected, okay, but that's a big jump up in points as well, from 42 to 51 for the same quality. Then you've got your irregular foot. So I've got 2 of these. And that means that a third of your army is fairly average, poor quality, medium foot. Yeah, I've got 18 infantry units, and 6 of them are medium foot, and 2 of these are irregular foot, and then I've got this militia as well, raw quality. So there's a bit of a jump really down from the pikes at 72. Then you go down to here, and in other armies, Romans, for example, you've got Hastati at 61. Carthaginians, you've got the Imitation Legionnaires at 51. So in other armies, you've got what I would call mid-tier heavy infantry. You've got access to a fair number. In this army list, you don't have access to any of those. You just jump down from pikes to the medium foot. So that means you just got to be careful with these units. Maybe always try and use protected ground. Maybe in reserve behind your better quality heavy infantry. Let's have a quick look at this map. It's a bit of a crazy map. So maybe you could get some of this medium foot onto the stream. If I decided to fight here, then maybe I'd use the hill, put some medium foot in the hill. Even here perhaps. So in the open, obviously you're at a disadvantage. You're always trying to protect them or use them in conjunction with the heavy foot. Cavalry, kind of another disadvantage, because yes, you've got quality. You've got 2 cataphracts, superior fully armoured lancers, so they're excellent. And then you've got your superior armoured lancers. So these units are great, but the cataphracts are a little bit slow, unmaneuverable, so they just get caught out. It takes them a while to get into the action, to turn, and so on and so forth. And performance-wise, I'm not so in ancients especially. I don't see them performing for their price really. They're 68, which is quite a lot. They're often up against pikes or spearmen in infantry. Even if they're up against a poorer quality cavalry unit, then it might take a few turns to beat that cavalry unit, say armored cavalry, noble cavalry, and then it would be chasing them off the map. So what I'm really saying is, for 68 to get your money's worth, I think it can be quite difficult. But with this list, again, the problem is the same essentially as what I said about the infantry. There's no kind of cheap or even mid-tier cavalry. It's all the more expensive cav, the cataphracts and the lancers at 64. Then you've got armored noble cavalry at 60, and then I've just got access to Arab camels, just one. So there's no noble cavalry, no armored cavalry, which is not great, because it just means I've only, well, I suppose with the camels I've got 4. At least it's not as bad as the Romans. Some of the Roman lists you've only got 3 cavalry units, so you've got 4. Camels also quite useful because they disorder cavalry, so they're worth the money. With my skirmisher. Skirmishers, fairly standard. You do save a little bit of money because you can take the really cheap levy skirmishers. For me personally, I don't go overboard on skirmishers. On 1600 points, which is the standard in the league. That's why I'm using it for this series. In the classical section, 20. Not many army lists have these really cheap skirmishers, so I'm quite happy to use them. I often use my skirmishers as a screen, or just to fight off the enemy skirmishers. So I'm not a player usually that takes 10, 11, 12 skirmishers. I just take around 7 or 8 most of the time. So I'm perfectly happy just taking the cheaper ones. I don't, if I can, I always try and take the 24 point skirmishers, and you know, you've got access to up to 9 here, which is excellent. Got the javelin men, slingers, and the levy skirmishers, so that's excellent. So a bit of a plus point there. If you wanted to swap out, if the list actually, there's a lot of units to choose from. If I wanted to, say, take out these lancers, I could add an elephant. Now, against, for example, the Romans, that might be a good thing to do, because the Romans only have, a lot of the lists only have around 3 cav units, the poorer quality cav units. So these cav units would be fine. Got 2 cataphracts camels, that's great. And the elephant would be really useful against the legionnaires, because they're not spear or pike, they're swordsmen. So 250 POA advantage would be quite useful. So you've got the option of taking elephants. Which is nice. There is 2 options for allies. I had a quick look at the allies. You've got, I think the main one being maybe the Jewish allies, but overall, I thought the base army is probably stronger, because with the Jewish list, yes, you can add the cheaper medium foot impact foot, but you lose a pike unit and you lose some of these Roman troops. I think you lose one as well. So you lose one of the heavy foot Roman troops and one pike. So overall, I thought, especially the Romans, because I'm not maxing out on the pikes, but I like these superior quality impact foot Roman troops. So overall, it's probably better to go with the base army. What would my rating be? Probably about a B. So yes, you've got some great heavy infantry, especially the veteran pike, especially the Roman troops and the superior warband, but then you've got quite a lot of medium infantry and not a lot of cavalry, and all higher end cavalry, so that limits you a little bit. So about a B, I think a B, but you got a good selection of skirmishers, so you can play, you know, in different ways. You've got your medium foot to take rough ground. You've got a good amount of skirmishers, and then you've got a mix of pikes and Romans, and not a lot of armies, especially the pike armies. They don't have a lot of impact foot. So with this kind of mix, that could be really effective if you could get some disruptions on impact with your impact foot and then back it up with your pikes. Yeah, you could do really well. So it's a nice mix there of impact and pike units, which is good. And a lot of pike units or armies don't have cataphracts. Cataphracts are fairly rare. And even though before I said sometimes you don't get value for money with them, on the other hand, they are fully armored lancers, so they can be at times very, very effective. And one-on-one against cavalry, there's not much, if anything, that's gonna beat this unit. Okay, so there we are. A nice army. Let me know in comments below what you think. Let us know if you've used this army in the league or recently, and see you soon.